The other thing to remember before you start drawing is think about your framing. What are the boundaries of your drawing? It's easy to say that I've got a piece of paper and that's my boundaries. But a lot of times that's not adequate for what it is you want to do. You have to learn how to limit your drawing as much as think about the detail. You want to think about, if I'm looking at this inside this box, what are my relationships here? If I have this sitting on the table, you might see the table edge. Well, how far do I take that out? There's nothing interesting out here, so I've got to decide to make limitations now. The other thing I find in creating a frame is that I have an interesting shape here. Nice negative shape that actually helps me define some of the object here. So if you don't start from general to specific and create limitations for your drawing, you're bound to fail. You're going to miss the whole. You may get a terrific wheel. You may get a wonderful wheel with great detail, but the car may fit like this, which misses the whole point. By creating a frame, you're setting up your blueprint. By working from general to specific, you've got the framework that you need in order to get everything done. One of the things that can help you in developing your framing is a real simple device. It's just a piece of cardboard. Take a square piece of cardboard, draw some lines, and where they cross in the center, measure out an inch or 2 inches, whatever you're comfortable with, and cut out a hole. By looking through this, you can define for yourself what parts of an object you want to look at. It helps you eliminate looking at the extraneous material that you just don't want to bother with. It just simplifies your process for you. The idea of analyzing before you even start your drawing is very important, so let me go over it again. If I'm going to draw this bulldozer, I want to take time and really look at it. Try to recognize the shapes that it's made of and the shapes that surround it. So first I'm going to look at it from different angles and try to recognize what basic shapes I'm looking at. We're going to talk about this later in another lecture, but I can tell you right now that I'm seeing that mostly it's made up of cubes, blocks of wood. Even though there are some interesting curves in here, like in there and around the scoop. But basically what I want to start out with is looking at it and saying, okay, I have a block, I have a cube here. It's not a sphere, it's not a triangle, it's a cube. Then I'm going to be looking at various things, trying to imagine from my perspective what angle it takes. For example, if I hold my pencil like this, which is roughly 90 degrees for me, I see that there's a nice little angle in here that helps dictate what some of the shape is going to be. So first, following our rules of working from general to specific, we lay out the basic shapes. First of all, we've got our block that makes up the caterpillar treads and the base body. So we're going to lay that down from this angle. Now from my perspective, this side angle is pretty extreme, so that needs to stay small. I've looked at that. Then I've got the back of the cube here, the front, and then this back side. Now there are also two cubes on top, so I'm going to sit there and block those out. In relationship to everything else. Now, I know that that curve's there, but I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm not going to even bother to look at that. Now I know that this cube lines up with this cube. So I'm going to extend this line here so that I can draw that shape. Now I can tell that it goes to the front of the cube. So I'm going to do that, extend it out there. Now there's some other shapes here that I've got to start dealing with. Okay, I know that I've got these round-headed pins that go through here. So I'm going to think about that. And then I'm going to think about the arms of the scoop. Now those shapes are also somewhat cubed. So I'm going to put those in there and over here. I've got this cylinder shape here for the stack and a smaller one representing the fuel cap. Then I've got the scoop here in front, which can be blocked into a box like so. So now I've laid out the basic pattern. Now I come back in, and this is a rough point here. And don't be afraid of being rough. Being rough is useful. But you do this, now you can start working in the detail. But you took the time to work out your proportions and your shapes so that everything basically lines up with everything else. And there you go.